Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Edner with your Wednesday, March 13th morning commentary. Let's go over first across some of the markets and see exactly where the funds stand, because it seems like we did have some active fund trading yesterday. So we'll start in corn as we always do. As of a week ago, funds had reached 77% of their all-time record short position. And again, when we give these numbers, these are all as of a week ago. So maybe we could assume that funds before yesterday's short covering had reached maybe 85% of the record shorts. So we did see active fund short covering in the corn. We don't want to get too crazy about that. Usually you need to see 2 or 3 days if we're going to make a case for complete short covering all the way back to flat. But we do know they're short a significant amount of positions, so when that does begin, we could see a healthy bounce. But as we see overnight trading a little bit lower right now, overnight is assuming that that was just a technical bounce and we're going to be resuming a slow move lower. And that's not uncalled for. Right? As active as the bounce was in corn yesterday, and we did take out a previous day high, it wasn't quite enough, even on the charts, to suggest a long-term recovery. So we'll be waiting until after 8:30 to see if we can find an additional bounce in the corn market here. Over in beans, funds not as short as you might think. They only held, as of a week ago again, held a 42% short position of their all-time record. So as much as beans have dropped, that's been a little bit more from the lack of fresh, positive Chinese news than it has been from fund selling like we've seen in other markets. Lighthizer yesterday, we did get a few comments from him. They were mainly mixed. For example, one of his statements were the U.S. and China are in the final weeks of having an agreement, but there are still major issues. That's a bit of a mixed statement there. He makes it sound like we're reaching close to the end of an agreement, but obviously there's still some major sticking points. So again, we'll call most of his comments from yesterday mixed and not directly positive, that's for sure. And in fact, speaking of directly positive China headlines, the last time we saw one was a week ago Monday. So we are in a little bit of a mini drought of positive news. That is a reason to say that if funds don't come back in and do additional short covering, it'd probably be justified to see a slow grind lower continue. Over in wheat, another market where as much as it's dropped, funds are maybe not as short as you might expect. Again, as of a week ago, they were 44% of their record short position. Obviously, you know, again, they have a decent number of positions to cover of shorts, and it did look like yesterday they were pretty active in that wheat market, given that we had a 24.5-cent bounce. Again, we can say the same thing for wheat as we can say for the other markets. Overnight is lower because even after a 24.5-cent bounce, that still looks like just a technical bounce so far, unless we can put a couple of more buying days together. Keeping in mind, over the last 4 weeks, wheat has fallen just over $1, so 24.5 cents sounds impressive, but when you look at a dollar slide, that puts things into perspective just how large yesterday's bounce was. Maybe looking at a day session chart or a daily chart, a little bit less than you might expect. Moving over to cattle, that's where the fund position is most significant. As of a week ago again, funds were 89% of their all-time record long position. After another week of buying since then, you might be able to put them around 95% of their record long. So you're in cattle, you're getting real extreme as to how much more buying you could expect from them. I mean, if they're in the 90% area, you really can't expect much more, and you'll have to be watching daily for a sudden liquidation, which is certainly what yesterday appeared to be. Heavy fund selling there. Again, for whatever reason, funds sometimes wait till the old pit opening in cattle around 9:05. So if we don't see funds selling right away this morning in cattle, you do want to wait until past 9:05. And if you make it past then there's no fund selling, then we could see a recovery. Because yesterday we did see 127 and 128 trades. We ended the day with a 128 trade. That would be steady with last week. So after yesterday's selling, if we saw a steady cash trade, we would actually make the case it was oversold. And again, this is unless we see more funds selling today. So you could see a small bounce back in cattle given a 128 trade as long as we make it past any funds selling here today. So that's our notes here for Wednesday. If you have any questions, give us a call, 800-551-4626, or visit us on the web at allendale-inc.com.